Welcome to the Upshot, Multi-World Disc Golf's podcast about the latest in the disc golf world. I'm Charlie Eisenhood in New York. Joining me is Josh Mansfield in Tampere, Finland. He didn't take any time at all to get up to World Championships land. Josh, how are you? How are your travels?
They were good. They were easy. I have enjoyed. I booked my ferry the night before. I booked my train to Tampere the night before. I'm just kind of like enjoying the solo European travel experience. Because normally, when you're traveling with other people, traveling with a kid, it's like, okay, 3 months in advance, I know when my plane leaves. I know which parking spot I'm going to be parking at. I know what the bus schedule is, right? Like, everything is planned to a T. So I'm just kind of enjoying the fact that, like, outside of, like, actually scheduled work meetings, I kind of do what I want when I want. And it's nice.
So, as much as we're excited for Worlds, we're not going to forget this European Disc Golf Festival anytime soon. Just FYI, we've already done 4 pods, including a couple of we did over an hour for rounds 2 and round 4.
Yep.
If you're a subscriber, so you can go check out all of that coverage and all of the talking we've already done about this tournament. With a subscription, go to discgolf.ultiworld.com/subscribe. You get access to those episodes and everything in our back catalog in your own private RSS feed, and join the Discord, and you can be in the live shows, all that, because we got a lot more coming up for Worlds next week. We are 1 week away from the World Championships. But what a weekend. First time major champions in both MPO and FPO. Calvin Heimburg finally gets one and caps off a career. Not that it's going to be over anytime soon, but this is the defining thing that he was missing. He didn't have a major. He'd done everything else. He'd been the best player the whole year. He has won a zillion Elite Series. He's already up at the tops of the list of, most wins on tour all time, but he couldn't get the major. And Josh, he finally did it. And what a moment to do it with a monster Circle 2 banger in front of the arena crowd with Gannon Burr, 15 feet from the pin, looking to force a playoff after Calvin just missed a bunny on 17 that would have effectively iced the tournament. And he hits it, and we've never seen the emotion that we saw from Calvin in that moment.
No, without a doubt. And, it's interesting, Charlie. I've been thinking a lot about a conversation that we had a few years ago about how tournaments are supposed to increase their portfolio and their profile, I guess, and bring some weight and some gravitas to their tournament, especially in the absence of established history. Right. It's honestly remarkable that USDGC has the history that it does and the consistency that it does, given how much our sport has changed over the past, 20 years, and especially even in the last 7 or 8. And so that gives USDGC as a major a lot of importance and a lot of weight because of that extensive history. I think it's something that Champions Cup is still trying to find, right? The lack of staying on a wooded course, etc. Lack of staying on a wooded course, the newness of the tournament, all of those things make it a little more difficult. And so when you have a first-time major in a country that's never hosted it before, and it's being done off of what is a historically very popular tournament in terms of the spectators and the importance of the European Open in the past, and it's happening so close to the World Championship, it definitely had a risk of being overshadowed. And I think there was a concern that this major wasn't going to feel like the real deal, that it was going to feel like a cheap major. I think Calvin and his reaction and the crowd that it delivered brings a different kind of weight than USDGC, but one nonetheless that Calvin's going to hear the cheers of those crowds, in his mind for the rest of his life. And even though it is that first time major, it's also something that brings a really significant weight in the sporting world because of the kind of crowds and moment that it was.
Look, we can debate the course, and it's a little soft. It's completely fair to say there's a lot of things that I think they need to do to try to punch up some of the challenge. But it was a sprint. We've got other sprint courses on tour. We've seen how Waco played out. It's not like this is completely. It's not like the course is easy in the sense that, like, I mean, Josh, you played it. It's not easy.
No.
Like, if you don't have elite level tour distance, you're probably getting cooked.
Right.
And like, you have to be able to throw super straight and super far. And we saw the best players able to do that, obviously shoot 14, 15, 16 under par rounds. But, a lot of people were struggling to put together 5 under rounds because there is challenge. It's just for the absolute top of the top. This is the kind of course where it's just literally about execution and execution alone. But that said, the play from the top level players, from Isaac and Paul and Rick and Nicholas and Gannon and Calvin, it was elite.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this was elite level disc golf. And because of the nature of this course, we were always going to get this incredibly exciting finish because it was just so hard to separate. 2-shot swings were rare, and it mostly meant that somebody took a bad kick out of bounds,
right,
or just made that slight mistake. So basically, what I'm getting to is that this is not cheap.
No,
this is not a cheap major. This is not something that I'm going to asterisk or something like that. This was. It was a tremendous tournament in many ways. And I mean, how can you not be excited for Calvin? Calvin doesn't have haters. I don't feel like, maybe he doesn't, maybe he's not your favorite player.
Sure.
But he doesn't have people who are like actively looking for him to struggle.
Right.
Like, I think there are people who hate Paul Macbeth for one reason or another, or they hate Gannon, or, they hate whoever, but I don't know if people really hate Calvin.
I don't think so either. And it was clear on that final day during announcements that Calvin was the favorite, right? He got just a little bit louder of cheers, and I think it's in part you have Major Robinson, who's on the card, who just seemingly dominates at the majors. You've got Gannon, who does have his detractors, and Paul's always felt a little bit like a stretch to win this tournament. Just being back 4 strokes, it's a lot to ask on this course, and so it really felt like a stretch for Paul, especially once the wind picked up. But Calvin was clearly the favorite here. People wanted it for Calvin; they wanted him to have the moment, and coming off of and getting that first time major really seemed like a big deal to the fans here. And it was an eruption of applause and cheers when he buried that putt.
I just looked up the fandom score survey from last year to look at Calvin. Approximately 2.5% of people surveyed had him below a 5 on a 0 to 10 scale.
Can you provide a context with like Gannon, for example?
Sure. And Calvin was the second most picked favorite player.
Okay.
And he was the second most popular overall MPO player behind Simon. Okay, so just as a note. Gannon, I'm ballparking here. Mm-hmm. Maybe 18, 19% said below 0 to 4.
Honestly,
with a full almost 6% giving him a 0. 0.18% gave Heimburg a 0.
Yeah.
So, no, 0.29, I'm sorry. 0.18 was for a 1.
Okay.
So, we're talking about like 1 or 2 people were like, I hate Calvin.
Yeah. Charlie, I want to start going a little bit of a breakdown of the tournament. I know we did reacts.
Let's do it.
But let's kind of walk through what brought us to the final round, and then we'll go a little bit more in depth on the final round itself.
Love it.
So, go ahead.
Round 1.
Yep.
We saw a big day from a bunch of players, but lead card was AB, Isaac, Ricky, and Nicholas, who shot 13s for the first 2 guys I named, and then 12s for Ricky and Nicholas. And it felt like, okay, what an announcement for this group, right? A couple of people who've been playing great all season, Nicholas and AB. And then, holy crap, Isaac showing up huge at the majors once again. And then a guy who obviously played amazing here last year in Rick. And, kind of felt like that was the group that we might see throughout this event hold on. I mean, what were your thoughts on the ground?
What it really kind of established when that happened is like, because sometimes at a major, especially on courses that aren't ones that are traditionally held on a major, you'll see some weird lead cards for round one where different guys will pop off and have a great first round. And some of the other guys will start slow. Sometimes the weather picks up, like the wind picks up later in the day. And so the guys who got early morning rounds are pretty calm and nice conditions. And so I was really curious to see if, round two was going to be a little bit of an odd hodgepodge of cards. And boy, that was not the case. It instantly became clear that the top players had an advantage here, that having that distance meant, and we talk about this all the time with AB, for example, right? But when you're able to throw a putter where most people and some of these, middle level tour players are throwing drivers, you have significantly more control over treacherous and dangerous greens that have OB and slopes all around them. And
kicks are less punishing.
And kicks are less punishing. And right, all the above. And being able just to pick the disc that you're most comfortable throwing. Your entire bag is open to you. All of that is a big deal. And it was clear that this was going to give the top pros a bit of an advantage. Going into round two, it consolidates even further. And you have the likes, Isaac Robinson, Anthony Barella, Calvin Heimburg, Gannon Burr finish at the top, with Nicholas Ontala, Ricky Wysocki, Lowry Lettinen, and then Alden Harris on the chase card. So again, just another packed card of the top talent. And this was the round where the feeling of impending inevitability from Isaac Robinson weighed heavily on the psyche of everyone in Estonia and at home.
Guys are trying to catch him. They're like, oh man, we got to hunt this guy down. All right, we're gonna get within a stroke or two here down the stretch. Bang! 476-foot ace on the 18th, an absolute dot. The Archer strikes. Now they're calling him Major Robinson. And yeah, I got to be honest. It really did feel like Isaac was going to win. You're like, because he once he has gotten a lead at a major, he has not relinquished it.
Nope.
He had he got ahead at Worlds last year, and that was it. Just walked it in.
Walked it in.
It was crazy.
And Calvin, it's you deserve some credit, because in our reacts you kept going back to Calvin's round, and that Calvin's was the best round of the day. 15 under, no ace, just 15 birdies, no bogeys, and it was overshadowed by the fact that Isaac hit the ace to get the same score and had a 3-stroke lead on AB, 4-stroke lead on Calvin. And so that it really was overshadowed, I think. I know I overlooked it. I wasn't giving it as much credit as I should have. And I think a lot of people were really just focused on the fact that Isaac Robinson, the major slayer, was at the top again with a 3-stroke padded cushion after walk-off ace on 18th. The inevitability, nothing. It felt like nothing was going to stop Isaac from winning another one, getting a second of the year.
Absolutely. And
go ahead.
We go to round three.
And this
Isaac falls off the pace.
This is where Isaac was never right after round three. He falls off the pace. It's honestly in the bogeys.
He looked off.
Right.
Even when he was making shots, he wasn't happy with them.
No, yep.
They were like 3-4 degrees from where he wanted to be throwing.
What was interesting, Charlie, that actually was the case as well in round two. It was really surprised. It's a little bit harder to keep track of scores when you're on the ground, unless you're actively pulling out your phone and checking them, because you're just trying to keep track of strokes in your head. And sometimes, I would catch glimpses of the scoreboard that they were carrying around, but it was a little bit harder to keep track of. I was honestly kind of surprised when I saw Isaac's score at the end, because every hole he would make a throw and he would just have that kind of frustrated, shoves the disc back in, smacks his hand a little bit. And it was going okay, but it's clear that he was not pleased with how it was going. And round three, I think on round two, he probably got a little lucky, and that's what gets him to a 15 down. Round three, I think he gets a little bit unlucky, and that takes him down to a 9 down. And so it all kind of works out in averages. But Isaac gives up that 3-stroke lead, and Gannon comes charging, taking 5 strokes on Isaac on this course. Not easy to do, gets them tied, and you have Gannon and Isaac at the top. Calvin shoots a good 12 down, has a bogey on there, but you're kind of still, it's like, okay, it's Gannon or Isaac. That was the feeling after round 3, for sure.
Well, and keep in mind, at this point, Macbeth also shot the best round of the weekend.
Yes.
16 down with, no bogeys, just 2 pars. He went 1 for 3 from circle 2. If he'd gone 3 for 3 from circle 2, 18 down. Like, he was just absolutely on fire. So you kind of could squint and be like, maybe if he shoots like this again in the final round, he could win. And then we get to the final round, Josh. This was an absolute roller coaster. So you go in and it's tied. Okay, so Gannon takes the lead on hole 2. Isaac ties it back up on the 4th and then takes the outright lead on the 5th.
Gannon misses a pretty routine putt on the 5th. Lucky that it didn't go further. Circle 1 though, no business missing that putt. He really should be burying that putt every time.
So then we get to 7 and double bogey for Isaac. At this point, Calvin had matched Gannon. So Calvin and Gannon then are tied for the lead after the 7th. And Isaac then went on to bogey the next hole, and basically it was over. Like, his tournament was over at that point.
Paul also bogeys hole 8, the downhill short technical tunnel shot. And at that point, Isaac and Paul are both just gone. Like, that's it. It's wraps. It's a 2-horse race. It was 100% clear at that point.
More drama on the 9th. Gannon, on his approach shot into the green, just leaves it, pushes it too wide. And like, it's not really that hard of a shot. And it was so close to coming back, like crossing the green and like giving him a putt to save par. Unclear whether it was, like, from the broadcast angle, it was very hard to say. I think we basically agreed in the reacts that it shouldn't have been up on the green.
No.
He did take it back down the fairway. It was never even really a conversation. So he takes a bogey. Calvin gets the birdie, 2-shot swing, and Calvin all of a sudden has a two-shot lead. And I remember saying in the chat at that point, I was like, Calvin's 70% to win this tournament. Could you believe that shot from Gannon?
No. Here's what I'll say. To Gannon's credit, that the wind was the highest on that day. Like, the wind was basically negligible days 1, 2, and 3. Day 4, there was noticeable wind, right? It was nothing like Emporia or anything, but it was windy. It was windy, and it was a right to left headwind, so it makes complete sense why it happened. You can't miss the 9th though. You cannot come up short on the 9th. You have to, and the thing is you got room to play with behind the basket. Like, going long is so much better than going short. And because then you still have a putt as well. It was a critical mistake that at Gannon's level, he should never be making. Not on that hole. And it really felt when that OB flag went up, because you saw it and it made it over the wall, but not over the OB, which does not happen often. I mean, it really was like, it's a pretty small margin for that to actually happen. And as soon as I saw the disc come down over the wall, because I'm standing back by the tee, I was like, oh yeah, it's done. And I start walking to go over to watch the 10th. And I hear kind of like groans, and I look over and the spotter's waving a red flag, and I couldn't believe it, and I think Gannon couldn't actually believe it. I don't think it was this performative upset, how like shocked Pikachu face that he makes every time he misses a putt. I think Gannon actually couldn't believe that wasn't in bounds, and I don't blame him.
At one point, he misses a circle 2 putt and goes, "The wind changed 5 times during that putt." Come on, man. You can't always blame the wind. But yeah, I mean, that ended up being Gannon's downfall.
100%.
That one bogey. And that's how tight this tournament was. Gannon then birdied 6 in a row and still didn't win this tournament. Like, think about that. Gannon did get a stroke back on the 11th. Calvin took a par. Calvin took a par again on 14. Gannon birdied.
Calvin, and 14 was the first, like, got a little bit nervous. It's a lower ceiling putt. So Calvin first shot, barely inbounds, like on the rope against the fence. So mixed execution on the first shot. Throws his upshot, comes up short, a little bit too low. It is like a gradual uphill, so it's a little bit hard to kind of judge the angle you want. Comes up short, has a circle 2 putt. There's a little bit of a low ceiling, but I don't think he even made it to the base of the basket. Like, it was so low. And at that moment, you just go, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Calvin. Did I say Gannon when I was talking about that? I might have.
I think you said Calvin, but
okay. I'm talking about Calvin.
I understood that you were talking about Calvin.
Yeah. Calvin misses that putt, and you just kind of go, oh, no. Calvin, please.
Yeah, because Gannon ties the lead. And I remember putting in the chat at this point,
50. Well,
Gannon
60-40. You said 60-40 Gannon.
60-40 Gannon.
Yeah.
At that, after 14. So they both birdie 15.
Yep.
Calvin gets the birdie on 16. And Gannon doesn't make a putt from circle 2. So back to a 1-shot lead for Calvin. And then on 17, he puts it inside the circle.
Oh, 20 feet.
Gannon is well outside the circle in C2. Yes. He doesn't make the putt. So it's like, this is an opportunity with the easy, how easy 18 is to just, all you got to do is stay in bounds.
Right.
All you got to do is make this putt on 17 and this tournament's over.
It's wraps.
And he bricks it. And you're thinking, oh my God. Not like this. And people, I mean, the Calvin fans in our Discord they were starting to melt down at this point.
Well, after Gannon missed the putt, like, they were popping the champagne bottles. They were like, this is it. It's done. It's wraps. The tournament's over. Calvin's won it.
It should have been. But
putt splashes out.
Don't you love the drama?
Oh my God.
He misses the putt. We go to 18. Gannon's first. Gannon puts it inside the circle.
Super close.
Now, what was crazy is that we watched.
Actually, I think it was Calvin first.
No, it couldn't have been.
Yes.
Oh wait, they both. Sorry. They both took a par. You're totally right.
Yeah.
The first 2 guys on the card went.
Right. Isaac and Paul go first.
Isaac shot. He doesn't get it. He doesn't swing it out wide enough, and he's way left.
Yep.
Paul corrects, sends it out way wide, lets it come back. Great shot. He's inside the circle.
25 feet. Yeah.
Calvin and Gannon have both gotten the wind read.
Yep.
Calvin's inside, and he ends up in C2.
Almost OB. Like a bad skip, and that's OB. Like, people were nervous, and you hear an audible groan when Calvin's disc hits. Like, it was well outside.
Gannon swings it out wide, spiky, and it literally tombstones it inside the circle. And so you're thinking, we're going to playoff. We're going to go to a playoff.
Someone grab a Sharpie. Here lies Calvin's major in Gannon's tombstone, right? Like, that's what it felt like.
And Calvin gets up there. He's doing his thing. He's lining it up. He's visualizing this putt. Pops it up in the air. Cash money. What an incredible moment. I mean, people are like crying. People are like screaming at their televisions to make the putt. I was screaming at my computer. I was like, dude, one time. And he did it. He did it. And then he went crazy. Isaac Robinson was jumping for joy out there. It was a wild scene. And it's just, you got to feel great for the guy to finally get one. And Josh, he kicked the door down of the shed. Mm-hmm. He came out.
Yep.
And he dumped a big bucket of Gatorade on your head.
That's right. It's so funny because you look at like the reactions of everybody. You look at the pros. I was watching kind of like the pros and their excitement. Like, they would have been so mad at Gannon. And I'm sure they would have been happy for him. But man, like that would have been like, there it is. There's Gannon's villain arch. Like, it is official. He is the bad guy of disc golf if he had done this. 100%. And if that moment had slipped away, if he'd missed that putt, man, after missing 17, it's crazy. It was crazy. It just, I don't think anybody really believed that he was going to make it. I think they hoped, but I think most people didn't think it was going in.
I mean, he had a great weekend putting. It was not like, but it's still a 30% putt.
Right. It's a 30% putt. And I'm not saying people didn't believe that Calvin was going to make it because of like his putting ability. It simply like 17. The fact, I don't think there's a way to give Calvin enough credit for walking away from the putt on 17 in order to bury that putt on 18. The mental fortitude to do that is just absolutely praiseworthy. It's the highest level. It's a professional move. It's a professional move at the highest level of the sport.
It was sick. It was absolutely sick. What a win. An amazing moment for Calvin. Let me give you some stats.
Okay.
Back in 2023, in his Player of the Year season, Calvin Heimburg podiumed 12 out of the 20 Elite Series and major events that he played in the season. That's 60%, which is just incredible.
Great number.
He had yet to podium this year. He had not podiumed. He top 10'd at 13 of 15 events so far, but 0 podiums. 29 other MPO players had a podium finish. Not Calvin. And his first podium is his first major win. Incredible.
It is the first time since 2018 Worlds at Vermont, when Greg Barsby and Paige Shue, then Bjerkes won, that we've had first-time winners in both MPO and FPO at a major. And so, and
amazing.
Honestly, like, I put in the recap article, I think it was 8 of the past 11 majors are owned by the other 3 guides on the card with Calvin.
Which is also crazy. And I want to give a shout out to Isaac Robinson because I know he did not win, but this guy's ability to raise his level of play when it's major time it's actually unbelievable.
It is.
Like, he has been not playing that great this season, and then major comes around, boom, hello. And the stats back it up. Isaac has the highest differential of anybody in MPO between their Elite Series performance and their major performance. He averaged, from 2022 to now, he's averaging 1038 at Pro Tour events, and he's averaging 1050 at majors. He was 1074 this weekend at the European Disc Golf Festival. But I will say, I feel like the ratings are a little fat for this tournament because of the kind of like easy birdies, but quick bogeys on OB.
Yep.
Very Memorial-esque in that way. So we kind of got some inflated. We got a few 1100 rated rounds. A little fat for the actual reality, I think. Yeah. Gannon has been the best majors player, but only by like less than 1 point. He and Isaac both round to 1050.
Okay.
Since 2022.
Since 2022.
Number 3 on the list, Calvin.
Really?
If you can believe it. 1048.
Never would have guessed that.
1048. Macbeth, 1047. Wysocki, 1046. Nicholas Antela, 1043.
Since 2022? When was Paul's last major?
2022. I think.
Was that USDGC 2022?
That was Worlds.
Or Worlds.
Did he win USDGC in 23? I have to check.
Because 21 was Chris.
His last win was USDGC, right?
Right. Right? When he beat Kyle? Or did he beat Kyle and then go to Worlds and win?
No, that's what it was. 2021, he won USDGC.
Got it.
2022 is his last major win at Worlds.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Kansas.
Okay. Yeah.
When he beat Gossage in the final round.
With the craziest putt on 17 that I've ever seen.
Macbeth has only won 2 majors since COVID. But he's also I just gave you the stats. He's been
good.
A top 5 player at the majors since 2022.
Well, let me give you a couple other stats here, Charlie. Or another stat. Again, a little bit of inflated ratings, but Paul McBeth's weekend rating was 1072. In his 17 major wins, he's eclipsed that number just once, which was at the 2019 World Championships when he shot 1074. Now, even if you want to say, okay, these are a little inflated, how far do you think you need to drop it? Because his next best was 2015 Worlds when he shot a 1064. Do we think this performance deserves to be below a 1064? Maybe, I don't know. But regardless, let's pretend you adjust this down to a 1065, right? I don't think it's unrealistic to say that when you look at Paul's performance, that his level at the majors has continued to rise. It's just not keeping up with the other people.
And it's just like you have to being average really, really good means you get a lot of top 10s, but you have to be able to pop off that extra little bit. And he's had those moments, right? Like him and Eagle at European Open. Like he couldn't have played much better.
Yep. That's yeah. Yep. Could not have played better.
So what a weekend for Calvin. Anything else on MPO, Josh? Maybe we should talk about kind of what this means for Calvin.
Well, first and foremost, he gets to walk from, Charlie, I forgot. So for those who maybe have not, because this is prominent in the sub bonus, I kind of forgot the origin of the shed. And I remember now. It was when Paul didn't get inducted into the Hall of Fame. We were talking about other players who should have Hall of Fame careers. And we were asked...
just really quickly, for those who maybe are newer listeners and you're like, what do you mean Paul didn't get into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Somebody tried to... The Hall of Fame, they tried to get him in. Somebody wanted to get him in, so they put him on the ballot.
Yep.
But people were like, it doesn't make sense to put him in the Hall of Fame yet. Because he's still in the middle of his active career. So there was essentially a protest against the way that they have been doing things. They've completely changed when you're eligible and how it works. Obviously, McBeth is going to get into the Hall of Fame, but they didn't let him in, which I actually agree with, but he never should have been on the ballot because now he technically won't be a first ballot Hall of Famer, which is so stupid. But anyway, continue.
And I remember somebody asked us, is Calvin Heimburg a Hall of Famer? And I said, no, he's not a Hall of Famer because he doesn't have a major. So he gets to be in the shed out back by the Hall of Fame. And that coined the shed. So the shed is now, there's 2 levels to the shed. You have the shed for the top players who have yet to win an Elite Series event. Then you have the shed for the top players who've won a lot of Elite Series events, but don't win a major, right? You get to come out of
Simon
the shed.
Is in the shed, right?
Simon's in the shed. AB is probably in the shed. Nicholas is in the shed, right? Lots of wins, still looking for their first major. Evan Smith is your top lower level shed player, right?
He's in the smaller shed.
Right. Ezra Robinson, congratulations, got to leave the shed. He now currently is just hanging out.
He hasn't won enough to get into the big shed.
Correct. He's not going back. We haven't sent him back to the shed.
You have to have a lot of expectations to get into the big shed, but not have won a major. Ezra, you still have some time. You might find your way into the shed.
So, but that was the joke, is that Calvin was in the shed next to the Hall of Fame because he didn't have a major yet. And the first and foremost career implication for Calvin is that he has left the shed and is dusting off and picking out his spot for his picture in the Hall of Fame. He is a lock. He's a lock. He has to be in there. And this settles any question about Calvin's legacy. And it's funny because you even mentioned at the beginning of the show, you said, to cap a career, to put the stamp on his career. He's still in his 20s. He could win a whole lot more. No. But it feels
I'm well aware. It's just he's done so much winning in such a short span of time.
Yes.
I mean, the guy, can you name when he won his first Elite Series or major?
It was in 2019 LVC?
Correct. Great pull. February 2019 Las Vegas Challenge.
And then did he win 2019 Hall of Fame Classic in a close battle against Adam Hammes in 2019 as well?
Correct.
Because he bookended that season.
That's right. So he wins 2 events in 2019. He wins Memorial and Jonesboro in 2020. He wins Ledgestone 2021. I think that was the combo year with Rick, right?
Yes.
When they canceled the final round.
Yeah, I think so.
And then Jonesboro and D-Glow in 2022. LVC and Jonesboro in 2023. DDO and OTB in 2024. And he gets his first major and his first win of the year in 2025.
Moves him to 8th all-time on the list, tied with Nate Doss for Elite Series major wins.
He now has a win every single year since 2019.
Yep.
Not a lot of players can say that. Yep. I don't even know. Are there any other players who can say that right now?
Since 2019? I think Rick can't he?
But Rick hasn't won in 2025.
Not yet. Right. Rick's streak could be coming
Paul's
to an
streak
end.
ended last year.
Yep.
Wild. This was a 1080 performance from Heimburg this weekend. His highest ever event rating in a win.
Highest event rating for a major.
And is it technically also the highest event rating for a major?
I think so.
I hate that because it just feels not true. It's like an inflated number, but it is what it is.
Listen, I completely agree. It was a spectacular performance. He
definitely played awesome.
He played awesome. And here's the one thing I'm going to say. The one extra thing that I'm going to add that I don't think is properly accounted for when people look at this course and this tournament. Charlie, you talked about how it's an execution style event. 100% right? You have to execute the fundamentals. You have to put your disc in bounds. You have to make putts. We watched every MPO player in the final round make mistakes that seemed inexplicable. Isaac missing the island twice to take a double bogey on hole 7. Gannon missing the green on hole 9, excuse me. Calvin missing the putt on hole 17. Because execution is different when there is OB looming everywhere, when you know you should be able to...
zero room for error.
There's zero room for error. You know that you should be able to execute every single shot that's required for this course. Gannon said he wanted to shoot an 18 down. It's because it's possible, because you have the skills to shoot every shot required on this course. And there are almost 5,000 people lining the fairways. I mean, the thing that I remarked at one point, it almost felt like golf on a couple of shots, because you're just literally people right next to the tee box on both sides in a tunnel shot. And it's like you think about like when golf, like they're shooting down like a gap with like just people lining right next to their shot on just off of the rough. And that's what it looked like on a couple of shots. And to execute something routine in your backyard or on practice is one thing. To do it with 5,000 people sitting there is a whole nother. And that's a pressure that has to be accounted for.
Yes. We'll talk more about the implications for Worlds a little later on. We're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, we're going to talk about another first-time major winner, much newer to the tour, Silva Saarinen. It's coming up. The Upshot is presented by Pound Disc Golf, makers of the best bags in the sport. Brand new Rufus colorway available now, turquoise and orange. They will sell out, so get in there right now. They've only been up for a couple of days, so you still got an opportunity to grab yourself a Rufus. It's the double convertible, so it's got the long pockets that are convertible to haul pockets if you want. 2 cell phone pockets, double lower zippered side pockets, Velcros for patches on the sides, and a really groovy colorway. Check it out. Stock Octothorpes are also shipping now. Octahauls will start shipping here very soon, so get your order in and get into the queue. PoundDiscGolf.com. All right, welcome back to the Upshot. Well, Silva Saarinen is also a first-time major winner, and it didn't look like she was going to be. She was down by 5 shots to the world number one, Kristin Lätt, with just 8 holes to play in the final round. And Josh, a combination of incredible shot making and particularly putting from Silva down the stretch and some utterly inexplicable putting mistakes from Kristin, with the haunting nature of this course that we talked about, how she almost melted down a monster lead 2 years ago at the European Championships, comes back and the demons were there, and Kristin went into 18 with no chance to win, despite having a 5-shot lead just 7 holes prior. Unbelievable.
The demons flashed. We saw a flash of them on hole 1 when Kristin missed like a 17 or 18 foot putt for birdie. And when she did, it was like you could tell everyone got on edge. But I think we all wanted to rationalize it away. Severe downhill, just starting out, just needs to settle into a rhythm, etc. Whatever excuse we wanted to make. And through the front 9, it wasn't really a big deal. I mean, Kristin was playing pretty well. She was excellent off of the tee this weekend. And the rest of her card wasn't pushing. And there was like kind of a sense that might be the case when you had like Valerie Montejano and Ella Hansen, who are 2 amazing players in their own right, but are not nearly at the same level as some of these other top pros that we've seen. And so, both of them being on was a fun story, but it really felt like, okay, this is Kristin's tournament to lose. And all 3, Ella, Val, and Silva, weren't playing their best golf in the front 9 and allowed Kristin to just kind of keep pulling a couple extra strokes. She only got 2 strokes on the card going into the final back 9. She started the round up by 3, only up by 5. Honestly, she probably should have had 8 or 9 strokes on that front 9, given the way that the rest of her card was playing. And it felt like at that moment in hole 9, Silva goes headwind on hole 9 again. And this is the same one that lost again in the tournament. Silva goes to throw the shot, and I literally said to the guy standing next to me, I said, she should not go for this. She needs to bail left. And she throws, she barely has the distance on a good day, but in a headwind, no shot. And sure enough, comes up short, OB, takes a bogey, and I was like, that's it. That felt like the tournament to me. Should have been the tournament. With 5 strokes, should have been the tournament. And it just got so ugly from there.
Josh, it was hard to watch. I don't think I've ever watched Kristin putting and felt like the visceral need to look away. I felt that before. I felt it when I watched Evelina. I feel it now when I watch Henna 3 putting, 4 putting. I don't even really remember many times that we've seen Kristin 3 putt. I mean, I remember one Champions Cup to lose on 18 to Paige. This has been her leak, right? This is the leak in her game.
Yep.
It is that she loses the C1 putting. Now, it's never been this bad. It has never been this bad. And we just got off of Krokel talking about how she'd had one of the worst putting performances of her career in that round. And then she somehow found a way to do even worse in this final round of a major. And look, you can come up with excuses. Well, her toe is broken. It's painful. It's causing issues. To me, this was pure, unadulterated mental. This was yips to the highest order. We have seen it before. We will see it again. I mean, stunning stuff. She goes 7 for 16 from C1X, 44%, 0 for 3 from C2, minus 5.16 strokes gained putting. These are the worst numbers in the tournament. She putted worse than Henna Blomroos in this final round. It was a complete disaster.
And also putted really well at the front half of that round.
I mean, final round was still 47-0 for Henna.
I think she went 7 for 7 to start the round, and then once the camera got out on hole 9, she didn't make another putt the rest of the tournament.
But I just
Anyway.
I've never seen Kristin putt this bad.
Never. I mean, we're talking bullseye misses, not circle 1X, circle 1 misses. Inside the red painted line, she was missing
11?
multiple times. Oh my gosh.
The 3 putt on 11 is, it was hard to believe. I mean, we're talking about not just like little splash outs, like kind of missed, like full air balls from 15 feet.
Yep.
And she fully had to switch her putting stance.
Yes.
She went away from the normal straddle.
So hole 11, she 3 putts. Hole 12, she is inside circle 1, inside of the white painted line, lays up a putt, puts it underneath the basket, doesn't try, lays up, makes her putt, takes the par, matches Silva there, and then goes on to hole 12, and hole 12, she stagger putts, and stayed. She
was stagger the rest of the round.
For the rest of the round.
It didn't help.
No. Didn't make it worse, but
so after that point, she made a 13-foot putt on the 13th. Then everything else was inside of 10 feet until 18 when it was too late. And that came with a 2 putt on the 15th and a 4 putt on the 17th. Like if she had just made, like if she had laid up from C2 on 17 to under the basket and tapped in for what would have been a par, right?
She'd be down by 1 going into 18.
She would have had a chance to win.
Yes.
She still would have had a chance to win.
Because at that point, because Kristin never lost the drive. The throws were still excellent, right? But at that point, you have to wonder, okay, Silva, who has been haunted by demons of her own in final rounds, but is usually struggling on throws more than putts. Her putt doesn't tend to leave her quite as much. It usually will be she'll start to make execution errors on throwing. And you could totally see Silva has the box, 5,000 people watching her, and she throws OB or plays really safe and it goes to a playoff. And then, it totally could see it. And then she missed again. Kristin did. And it's like, okay, Silva plays for par. As long as, she could screw it up, but now it's going to feel hard. And then Kristin missed again. And it was like, it's over. 3 strokes. There's no shot in this world that Silva is going to take a double bogey.
I honestly wonder if like thinking back, like Kristin wishes she just laid up. Because Kristin had outplayed Silva on 18 all week.
I think there's going to be a lot of what
Kristin
ifs.
birdied 18 in round 3. Silva bogeyed. Kristin birdied 18 in round 2. Silva did get the birdie that round. And Silva parred it in round 1. Kristin took the par. So, and then, in that final round, Silva was in C2 and Kristin got the birdie from 13 feet. Does she make that putt if it actually has pressure on it? I don't know. But
does she make that throw? I mean, that's a lot further for Silva than it is for
Kristin. It's a very fair point.
Here's the other point that's important, though, Charlie. I don't want it to be seen as Silva just kind of like lucked her way into this win.
No.
And it's getting overshadowed a little bit, and it's too bad because Silva shot a scorcher of a back nine. Finishes the round, 1,007 rated round, after going even through the front nine.
Let's be honest, she played bad in the front nine.
She played bad. Yes. No, it was not getting inside the circle for looks.
Wasn't making her putts. Went 0 for 3 from C2. I mean,
but she made she missed one circle 1. Yeah.
I mean, for a player whose skill is derived in large part from elite putting, she played badly in all phases in the front nine.
Yeah. And then something flipped. And I have never seen Silva smiling and laughing as much as I have with her sister on the bag. I don't know what it takes. MVP needs to start paying for Silva's sister to tour with her, because that kind of lock in, I didn't know that Silva had that gear, like that higher level that was needed to run Kristin down and put the kind of pressure, because that's the other thing. If Silva's back by 4 strokes on hole 11, if Silva's back by 4 strokes, or not on hole 11, but like on hole 17, if Silva's back by 3 or 4 strokes, Kristin is laying up, right? Kristin's not running a single putt on 16, 17, 18, any of them, because she doesn't have to. And so the opportunity for blow up existed because Silva continued to put pressure on. And that can't be overlooked. Silva shot a phenomenal final round.
Yeah, I mean, if Silva had played the way she did in the front and the back, it wouldn't have mattered that Kristin melted down on the putting green. Kristin still would have won. And instead, Silva goes 49-foot banger on 13 for birdie, 29-foot birdie on 14, 26-foot par save on 15, 19-foot birdie on 16, 16-foot birdie on 17, game over. Didn't miss a putt. Literally did not have a single missed putt from hole 9 until 18.
And don't get to count 18 because she laid up.
Right.
Yeah. Did not miss a putt.
Crazy.
Electric.
Crazy.
Yeah. It was crazy, Charlie, to hear the way that the crowd changed their reactions to Kristin's drives. At the beginning of the round, when Kristin put it inside the circle, it was so loud. So loud. It sounded like a professional sporting event. And the claps and cheers for everyone else were polite. Like they were golf, right? But then after 11, every time she was in the circle, it was significantly more reserved because you could tell like being inside the circle wasn't good enough anymore. And people were nervous. And it wasn't until she was making putts that you had the same sort of cheers.
I mean, she completely lost the putt.
Yep.
She posted on Instagram, Kristin did. She said, "This week I entered a space of love so vast, it felt beyond time and space. And yet inside, I was falling apart. My putting felt like it had left me completely. My body and mind were exhausted. But maybe that's what made the love and support around me even more profound. Thank you for holding me through it all." Ultimately, what's crazy is that Kristin actually outshot Silva from C2. Mm-hmm. She was 30% to Silva's 27%. Kristin 5.4 strokes gained C2. Outshot Silva by about 7 shots tee to green, but was so bad in C1 that Silva won this tournament. It was an 11 shot, or maybe almost 12 shot differential between Silva at plus 5.7 and Kristin at minus 6.5 in C1 strokes gained. I mean, if you want to talk about it differently, they had the same number of C1X putts, 47. Silva made 39 of them. Kristin made 28 of them.
If Kristin putted okay, I never in a million years thought I would say this phrase.
It sounds like we're talking about Evelina right now.
Yeah.
Who are we talking about? What European player are we talking about? Cut it out of context. We could be talking about Henna, Evelina, or now Kristin. Charlie,
I'm convinced that the Europeans, everyone except Silva. Maybe Silva was too young for the event, but I think that some European somewhere found a genie, rubbed a lamp, found a genie said, "I'll give you a wish," and they said, "I want the Europeans to be the best disc golf throwers in the world," and the genie said, "Your wish is granted. By the way, they can't putt now." And Silva was just too young, so it didn't happen to her.
Let's look at the stats for Silva, okay, over the last 3 years.
Okay.
This is just unbelievable. We'll put the graphic up. The Pro
Charlie, how old is Silva again?
We have to look. We got the update, Josh. The 2025 How Old Are the Players article is up.
You're welcome, everybody. The most important work that we do at Ultiworld.
Shout out to Jesse Weiss. How old is Silva? I think she's 21. No, she turns 22 this year, so I was close.
Yeah, she's 22.
She'll turn 22 in 2025. Whether she's had her birthday yet or not, I do not know.
Oh, okay. At some point in 2025. Okay, yep.
2023, average event rating 951, average finish 19.3, no wins. That's 2023. 2024, okay. Average event rating 971, average finish 9.3, 2 Elite Series wins, 73% top 10s. So far in 2025, she's third in the world. She's averaging 988. She's won now 3 times, including the major, and is 91% top 10 finisher. How high can she climb?
Well, Charlie, I want to include an email here, or a message from the Discord. This comes from April in our Discord. For the first time in maybe 2 years, we could be less than a month away from having a legitimate contender for best FPO play in the world that isn't Kristin Lätt. Evelina, who could match Kristin's worlds count, could go 2 straight years with multiple major wins. Obviously, could that be that player? I also think Missy or Holland could claim the throne with a worlds win, especially a decisive one, and maybe one other win. Who else could be on this list, and what would each player need to do to achieve this title? So, Charlie, I want to ask you, Silva, having gotten this win, clearly has to be added to this list. What else does she need to do in order to achieve the title of best FPO player in the world?
Of number 1 in the world?
Yes. And obviously, the PDGA rankings take some time. They are a 2-year, and so we do have to look at historical performance. But what would it take? At what point?
Yeah. Let's not include the PDGA rankings. That's its own thing.
Yes.
Like, when would I be ready to say?
When would you be ready to say Silva Saarinen is the best FPO player in the world?
Okay. I'm looking at the 2025 numbers right now just to have a feel here, okay?
Sure.
So Kristin has won 3 times. She won Waco, Music City, and Konopiste.
Yep.
Silva has won 3 times. Ale, Preserve, and now EDGF.
Yep.
Holland has won 4 times. Ella Hansen has a win. Cadence Burge has a win. Evelina has a win. Missy Gannon has 2 wins. It still feels like pretty balanced overall.
Yep. Missy, Silva, and Evelina are the ones with the majors.
Here's what I would say. I think I'm ready to give the torch to Holland, Silva, and maybe Evelina if they win Worlds. And
I think I agree.
Maybe Missy. Tough call.
It's hard. It's hard because Missy does the.
It is
Isaac
very
thing.
balanced at the top right now. That's really what it comes down to.
It is.
Missy does the Isaac thing. Shows up for the majors and the big money.
Yeah.
I think it's Worlds is actually like a pretty big. It's bigger than normal.
It's bigger than normal
because it is going to define who the best player is right now.
Whoever wins Worlds is the clear, obvious front runner, and it's going to take a massive effort for any other player to take that away.
Well, let's say Cadence Burge wins. I'm not going to say she's number 1.
Sure. Sorry, I meant of the 4 that you had.
Yeah.
Of the top 5 players in the world, right? Holland, Missy, Ev, Kristin, Silva. Yeah, of the top 5, any of them wins Worlds. They are front runner, favorite, and incredibly difficult to catch for Player of the Year.
Crazy. Silva has also been, not surprisingly, amazingly improving at the majors. In 2023, she averaged 954. Last year, she averaged 975. So far this year, 991.
Look out.
Look out.
Look out. Going in front of a home crowd.
I'm still in shock a little bit about this tournament. I remember I woke up at like 6:30 a.m. and FPO had wrapped up, and I pulled up PDGA Live, and I was like, "Excuse me, what?" Now, I wasn't like shocked that Silva had won. It's that like when I clicked in to see how,
right,
I was like, "Wait, what?" Like,
right,
4-putt, 3-putt, disaster fest, crazy.
Yeah.
career implications for Silva?
It's a bigger deal than just young player gets her first major. To me, it's I could totally see a world where Silva falls into kind of the like the narrative of unable to win majors because she's struggled under pressure in the past. And so if you told me that Silva was going to follow a Simon trajectory, then I could totally see it. And she gets wins, but then kind of can struggle sometimes at the majors. Like I had a little bit of a worry about that, just given the blowups that we've seen from her this year and last year, especially in the face of Kristin. To just get the major, it's like there are. I think that for the top players in the sport, there are boxes that are expected to be achieved, and you just tick them off, right? You have, like, they need to get their first win. They need to get multiple wins in a season. They need to get, they have a high level of consistency. They need to get their rating to a certain point. You need to get a major, right? Now, that's not to say Silva's done everything that she wants to do, but the bare minimum that you need to do to be considered, one of the best players in the world, she's done it. It's done. It's done. And everything else at this point, a world championships, players of the year, multiple win seasons. She probably needs a player of the year, right? To be considered best player, to be considered a top player or an elite player. But basically everything else is done. And so anything else that comes next is gravy. It continues to build and develop a phenomenal career. But that I don't think that there are really any like monkeys left on Silva's back, and she's only 22. And that's a great place to be.
Yeah. I mean, maybe someday we'll be talking about whether, she can win a Worlds, but she can put that to bed next week. And certainly I don't think there's any expectation of that at this point.
No.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, if Silva wins Worlds, and
holy smokes.
Is she the favorite?
I don't think so.
Who's the favorite? Do you still want to give it to Kristin?
I don't think I give it to Kristin. I think it's got to go to... It might need to go to Holland, to be honest. Holland or Missy. Missy was bad at the last bit of this weekend. It might be Holland. It really might be Holland. It's a course that's going to favor Holland a lot, too. Here's the last thing I want to say.
She's never played there, remember?
That's true.
There's no history for her. But, I mean, let's remember, last year, Kristin came back and beat Evelina, who completely melted down, and Silva.
And Silva.
5 shots better than Silva to come back and win. This was not 2023. 2023... Kristin completely lapped the field. It was over after like maybe
round 2.
Definitely after round 2. Maybe after round 1.
Yeah.
I mean, she was like 15 shots ahead after 2 rounds. It was insane.
It was crazy.
But Missy was 4 shots off the lead last year. Evelina was 7 shots off the lead. And of course, Holland did not play. I definitely think it's hard to pick Kristin to be the favorite right now, despite her success on this courses in the past because of the putting situation.
I will also say the other thing that's going to, I think, hold Silva back just a little bit, she needs to get just a little bit more distance. And it's not because she needs to be throwing further. It's because she needs to be throwing more dependable lines on her current distance. So Silva probably throws, 350-ish, but that requires a hyzer flip turnover, like kind of flippy discs. And so it like when that's the cap, she doesn't have anything that she can reach into the bag for when she needs more distance, when there are long holes that like, it's just so much safer to go long than short, like hole 9. And it means that depending on the wind, she doesn't have the option to like stay with a power hyzer because she just can't keep the distance up and get far enough. So she needs to add a little bit so that she can just throw like straight hyzers or flat to hyzers without relying on something that flips up that the wind is going to punish. Also needs a forehand. It's crazy some of the deficiencies that Silva has in her game and still performs at this level.
It's because she's an incredible putter.
Incredible putter.
Reliable shot maker with the backhand.
Yep.
And you are right in a way, if it gets really windy, I trust her less because of the way that she throws. Mm-hmm. But like you're nitpicking right now.
Oh, I'm nitpicking.
Crazy. All right. Speaking of some of these things, I want to pull up another piece of mail we got in our inbox, upshot at ultiworld.com, if you want to reach us.
Okay.
This one comes from Nathan. After watching Kristin, one of the all-time greatest FPO champions, completely collapse, and watching Silva, who choked away victories time after time, even earlier this season, pull out the win, I hope Josh and others will put to rest the ridiculous notion of a clutch gene. Clutch is the complex combination of many factors, including preparation, past performance, confidence, and self-perception, physical condition, as well as ability. It is learned and situational, not genetic. Clutch gene language both oversimplifies something that requires careful parsing and analysis and too dismissively suggests that it's something people have or do not have, which is obviously not the case. Clutch performance, yes. Clutch gene doesn't exist.
I don't think clutch gene was ever to say that it's quote unquote like genetic. I think that takes it a little bit too literally. But I will confidently say that there are some people who have a tendency and a capacity that are simply better under pressure. I'm sorry, because tell me what Isaac Robinson does. Maybe I was explaining the right guy. Okay, Paul Macbeth. Tell me what Paul Macbeth does differently in his preparation than thousands of other professional disc golfers. Now, it's not to say that Paul doesn't work incredibly hard, but I think it'd be dismissive to say, well, every player could learn to become clutch to the same extent that some of these top players are. And it's noteworthy. I mean, I don't think Kristin wins in clutch situations all that often. Most of Kristin's wins come when she's just absolutely obliterating the rest of the field.
I don't know, Josh. I mean, she literally clutched up and won Music City this year against
No, and
Silva.
you're right. But my point is, I don't think has Kristin ever been like our poster child of clutch? She's been poster child of excellence. But when I think clutch, I think Paul Macbeth in the majors for a decade. Hole 17. Now, you're right. It's situational. There's the right mental state. I think here's my general idea. I think that clutch is a mental fortitude that allows you to take advantage, to put aside pressure, to put aside doubts, to put aside worries, to put aside yips in order to execute in that moment. I think there are some players who have a greater capacity to do that. And it doesn't just come from the fact that they prepare. It comes from an entire lifetime of personality, development, beliefs, confidence, etc. And it is something that players can improve upon. But I think that given life experiences, and maybe also genetics, I don't know, there are some people who have a natural tendency towards clutch and others for whom they have to work harder. I think every player can develop it. I think it requires more work for others than it does for some.
It certainly feels that way. I think I just feel like there are players who simply, over the course of their career, make more clutch shots than others. Like, look at the NBA. Jalen Brunson, my dog, dude. Clutch as hell. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, I will say there are genetic factors that could make you more clutch.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there is a clutch sports gene.
Right.
But like,
I'm not saying it's 100%.
Go watch, what's the movie with Alex Honnold called? The rock climber who Free Solo, right?
Oh, Free Solo. Yeah.
You seen that?
I have seen parts of it. Yes, I haven't seen all of it.
You've seen parts of it. Okay, watch the whole movie.
Okay. I'll watch the whole movie. I think I watched part of it on a plane once.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
Watch the whole movie. This dude has something wrong with him that makes him an unbelievable rock climber because he doesn't feel fear the way other people feel fear. And that is the kind of thing that could help you be more clutch, right? If you don't feel the same kind of stress and have the same kind of, impact on your body physically when you're under pressure, then you obviously are going to be more likely to perform better.
Yep.
So I don't know how to explain these things, but some people have it, some people don't. I don't know.
And I really do think that some people can improve upon it.
I think anybody can improve.
Yes, but there are some people for whom that improvement comes easy, and some who it's very, very difficult. So sorry, Nathan, I'm not ready to put this away.
Let's take some more mail. You want one? You got one?
Yeah. Weston, in years to come, assuming that Calvin doesn't win 10 majors, can we say that Calvin won the European Open when he lists his majors, or are we forced to say he won the European Disc Golf Festival?
It's funny that he says this because I was thinking about this. I was thinking about how we really want to have like a consistent naming convention for the European major.
Right. Because
Worlds is happening in Europe this year, but Worlds is its own thing, right? So like
Correct.
We have Worlds, wherever
Similar
it is.
Champions Cup.
It's, they're, who knows where they're going to put that tournament. I mean, they're going to tell you one thing and they're going to do another. But
I hear they're bringing back the match play finals, Charlie.
It's a little awkward, right, to have to say, because the problem is that there's years from the past where they had European Open and they also had like Konopiste as a major.
There's the other problem that you have. Well, there's two other problems with this. Number one is that European Open is like branding that I think is owned, right? But maybe I'm wrong about that. But I think that tournament owns the European Open branding. European Disc Golf Festival has happened on years where we've had the European Open. It probably will happen again because what is it, 2028, 2026, maybe 2027 that they're a DGPT event and not a major. And so it's going to happen around another European major while being a DGPT event. And they have to keep their branding like consistent. I mean, they have, you got to remember.
We don't even know if European Open is going to continue to exist.
Right. Like, but like,
this does feel like UC's swan song. And then he's going to just be like, I'm done with this.
It totally feels that way. I hope UC goes and retires on like a beach in Greece somewhere. I don't know what we call it. I think we need to get a European major title because Konopiste doesn't count. We've talked about this, Charlie.
Here's my issue.
Okay.
Let's say Calvin wins, over the next 5 years, he wins a Worlds, he wins a USDGC, he wins a Champions Cup. Is that a career Grand Slam?
Yes.
I think I agree, but like, why?
Because he won a European.
Because he won the European major?
The European major.
Fair enough. It's just a little weird.
And
we're
listen,
probably going to have to like reclassify European major, even if it's not called the Open. Because I completely understand Weston's point.
Okay, Charlie, here's the question I have for you then. Does Evelina have a career Grand Slam? Because she won Konopiste?
Wait. So she's won Worlds. She's won a Champions Cup.
She won U.S. Women's this year.
She won U.S. Women's.
Do we have to give her a career Grand Slam because of Konopiste?
Oh, no. Okay, hang on. Okay. I believe European Open happened that year, but maybe it didn't.
If it was Konopiste instead.
What year was this? Was this 2018?
2018.
I'm looking it up. It didn't happen. But like, it's fair, right? That was the major in Europe that year.
It was the major. I don't know if I ever realized that that European Open didn't also happen. Yeah, Ev's got a career Grand Slam. I'll say it. I think she does.
I can't believe we've never realized this, or anybody.
Me neither.
No one has talked about this. That's absolutely wild. I think so.
Has to be.
Career Grand Slam. Because we're going to reclassify all these years the European major. How about that?
Yes.
Okay, I did not expect us to realize this today, but here we are.
Whatever the top European major was, I mean, it's just... Now, I don't think Europe's ever had two majors.
It's admittedly, it's a little bit of a light win, but it's not like nobody was there. Katrina was there. There were some other big names there.
It was the European major that year.
Kristin
that is what
there.
you need to win.
Kristin finished 17 shots back, and at the time was 909 rated. I think Katrina may have been the only American. No, but Vanessa Van Dyken was there. But it was a light field. But at the end of the day, she still beat Henna and Katrina.
It's the European major.
There you go.
She's got a career Grand Slam.
Crazy. All right, one more.
Okay.
Eric says, in a strange twist of fate, Josh is Calvin's good luck charm to win his first major. In all fairness, I'm a big Calvin fan, but can't really argue with Josh's takes on his past performance in majors. It was almost the case again on Sunday. For that reason, it's fitting that Josh was in attendance for Calvin's major breakthrough. Josh, you're going to Worlds, right?
I'm going to Worlds. Listen, I said the week of the show or the week of the tournament. I've said for years, once Calvin gets his one, look out. The monkey's off the back.
What if he followed it up? It would be absolutely epic.
I mean, listen, AB won his first DGPT event, then went on to win 3 more that season.
Floodgates. And
yes.
in a span of 2 months.
Yes. There's no reason that couldn't happen with Calvin. His putting looks phenomenal, and that's always been the thing that held him back. USDGC revenge, maybe?
Let's take a quick look at the picks. Let's not take a quick look at the picks. I don't want to see these picks.
Let's just do Pursewatch.
Gross. Josh and I both picked up some points with Maudie Villman. Nice little 10xer for us this week, but missed on Daniel Davidson, Lauri Lettinen, and Una Heinonen. Josh got some points for Katie Tate. I got some points for Evelina, but we both had Letomaki, Turton, Alsalu. I mean, they weren't horrible picks, but they weren't good. Nobody did great this week. I don't think. Only one person picked Calvin Heimburg.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
Listen.
I mean, it's like a combination of
nobody can come at me
in Calvin and a relative points values, right?
Right.
One, yeah. Piet Wilson picked Calvin. The only person.
Piet.
Finished 5th in the points this week. April, number 1 in MPO with Nicholas Gannon and Villman.
Nice.
In FPO, LFC DJ was your top picker. Tate, Evelina, Silva. Good stuff.
Pursewatch?
Let's do it. Josh, what do we have this week?
$81,819 in MPO, $36,360 total, $118,179. This does fall below Champions Cup, which is the other both combo major that we've had so far, but ahead of every other DGPT event. Total purse per player of $758. Not bad, but definitely the lowest of the other majors. 14.5 to Calvin, 8.5 to Silva. And that is up 15% from European Open last year, up 86% from the European Disc Golf Festival last year. So not quite the right comp there, but it was pretty interesting, Charlie. They were talking about the impact that Kristin was going to have if she was in contention on final day, and that they were expecting more than 1,000 extra spectators if she's in contention versus if she's not. Kristin single-handedly, her performance was worth an additional 20 grand to this tournament.
Yeah, that's interesting to think. How much was Kristin personally worth to this event? A massive amount. If she doesn't play in this event in the future for whatever reason, because she's hurt or she's sick, or eventually when she retires, will they still have the kind of success?
I think so. I think that they're lucky. I'm glad that they took advantage of it while she was at the top.
Sure.
But I mean, you're watching a couple of Estonians who are improving and getting better and getting in contention. I mean, Katie Tate had a great weekend. Katie Alsalu finished 11th. And they had significant fan followings. I think it also helps, honestly, that Silva won. Having a European player staying at the top is also
a quick ferry ride away from Finland.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I don't think it should be too big of a deal. I'm glad they got to take advantage of it, though.
We've got a lot more to talk about with this event in terms of spectators and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. We're going to do a full extra bonus show all about Estonia and the European Disc Golf Festival. It's coming later this week. Our schedule this week, so just so everybody knows what's going on. We've got a show today. We'll have a show tomorrow. That'll be our 2 normal shows. Then we'll have a show probably coming out on Thursday or Friday that is Estonia focused. We're going to get some food picks. We're going to get the Josh inside stories, all this good stuff. And then next week we will have show Tuesday for our normal preview world show. The tournament starts Wednesday. We'll be doing reacts every day. One of those reacts we will release as a main show for those of you who are just following along, and hopefully that's the nudge that you need to pay your $5 per month to get your subscription. Less than $5 per month, technically, by a penny. We'll count it. So all sound good, Josh?
Sounds good to me.
All right. I hope you have a wonderful time in Finland this week as we get ready for Worlds. All right. That is going to do it for today's show. Shoot us your thoughts, upshot@ultiworld.com. We always love hearing from you. For Josh Mansfield, I'm Charlie Eisenhood saying so long, and we will talk to you tomorrow right here on the Upshot.